by the miracle of telecommunications, we actually do have Bob in here. Bob Gilbreath is with us today, the next evolution of marketing. Bob, welcome to Traders Nation. How are you today?
Doing great. Thanks very much for having me.
Good, Bob. Listen, thanks for being here. Name of the book, folks, by the way, The Next Evolution of Marketing, Connect with Your Customers by Marketing with Meaning. And that's the key word here, isn't it, Bob, with meaning?
It sure is. It's really kind of the historic model, unfortunately, has been mainly marketing by interruption, where for years we as marketers have just paid to put our message in front of people's eyeballs, whether they're watching TV or driving down the road or opening up a magazine.
Right.
And more and more that's not working, both because people are choosing lots of different media to react to instead of just 3 channels. They're everywhere. And the second thing is they're learning how to ignore it or purposely skip the advertising that we put out. So
sure.
Really, as marketers, the only thing we can do is either try to find new places to put our ads, which isn't working very well, or actually turn that idea on its head and actually create marketing that people choose to engage with and advertising that itself adds value.
Bob, I found out years and years ago, I've been in business since 1989, that marketing itself is really a science, right? I mean, when you think you have it, you don't. You got the best product in the world. People tell you that, but it doesn't. You get it out there. What are the best methods today when it comes to marketing? And I'm assuming it's now into the digital marketing and maybe moving away from the print marketing. Your thoughts?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think the analogy to being a science is a good one. I think where we are now is that we've discovered a new formula or a new paradigm of marketing.
Yeah.
And what's interesting is a lot of people are saying it just means go digital or go mobile or go even social media now,
sure.
Things like Twitter and Facebook. And a lot of marketers say I need to be there, but they're not sure how.
Right.
And the main problem is that the kind of old model of just finding another place to put your ad up is not working. In fact, banner media, which has been the closest thing digital has had to something that's mass, is actually seeing a decrease in spending this year.
Okay.
As people are getting worse results. So what's really needed is, if you're going to win in digital, the way brands are working, for example, is by creating new services that are adding value to people's lives.
Sure.
So things like Nike Plus, which is helping runners track the runs and, run contests with each other. Southwest Airlines has a tool that, you can download to your desktop and see when the fare prices are matching what you're looking for in key cities that you fly between.
Right. And so we're talking about widgets and gadgets and stuff like that. These are almost, I don't want to say they're fads, but you've really got to have something that the other guy doesn't have, and it's got to be able to catch on and go viral, right?
You got it. I mean, it's something that, it's not just, you can't just think of it as a gimmick. You can't just think, okay, now I need my brand needs a widget.
Right.
Not everyone has a right to do that. And another way to think about it, and I think that this idea is kind of changing marketers' mindset a little bit, is it's no longer about putting your message out there to millions and millions of people. It's more about trying to do something, that's connecting with that 20% of your customers that drive 80% of your profit, and hoping that they spend, hundreds of dollars with you a year versus maybe, 10 or 20.
Right. Now with the digital age, I cut my teeth in print media, but we're seeing that go away. Paper's gone, digital coming in. Going digital, is it less expensive for the marketer today to do that type of advertising versus, let's say, 5 years ago?
Well, yes and no. I mean, I think it's less expensive in some ways because there are a lot of digital tools out there that make it easy for marketers to kind of have a platform and get started and get some scale. Facebook is a great example where there's already, tens of millions of customers out there using it, and a brand can create a Facebook page at no cost in an afternoon. The thing it is becoming more expensive is that the technology is evolving and improving to the point where, you are having to put more into it, and people's expectations are a lot higher. So, you're not just competing with other, call it digital tools or websites in your close competitive set.
Sure.
You're competing against everybody that's out there, media companies even, that are creating services now.
Bob, when you say put more into it, are you talking about more capital in way of money, in way of manpower, or maybe both?
Both and all.
Really?
For us, one of the things that's interesting is that, it's yes and is really what happens in digital. You have to have a strong web presence, for example. You have to keep improving that every year.
Yeah.
But then you also need to have a presence on Facebook or Twitter. You also need to have a mobile presence because people have more choices now, and you can't afford to just invest in only one of those areas. You need to be wherever they're choosing to go.
Right. Now, Bob, we run into with the problem, one of the setbacks and potential setbacks with digital age is that you run into these problems that there's always the next thing coming. So we find ourselves spending time to get familiar with that one product that's in Twitter or whatever it may be, Facebook,
Yep.
of course, you mentioned. Then all of a sudden, here comes another one. And now we got to get adjusted our marketing plan to that. Do you find that people are chasing the fox's tail to try to keep up with the technology of these digital methods?
Yeah, I think what we're big believers in is that you need to pay attention and watch the next thing that's coming up. I mean, that's the best way to really figure out if it's going to be useful is to have some hands-on involvement yourself.
Right.
Whether you're actually doing it for marketing. But I think it is important to go back to what's our customer base doing? How advanced are they?
Right.
And kind of going slowly. I think it is a realization that although there's lots of hot trends and we look for every year, there's some new cover of Business Week that says, now it's time for apps. Was a couple weeks ago. I still remember the cover that said your business needs to be blogging.
Right.
And it's important for us, and that's what we help our clients with is realizing, yep, here's what you need to know about that, but here's the right way to do it for your business and your customers and, doing it when they're really ready.
Well, isn't it critical, though? Because you almost kind of run into the risk of being too advanced, do you? Because if you go over your customers' heads, they have no idea what you're proposing to them, then you're going to miss your target.
Right, and then not to mention the fact that if you don't get enough people actually engaged in the new thing that you're launching, you may lose a job because there could be a lot of money invested in there. But I think one example that I've seen recently, Kraft, for example, which has had a big digital presence for years with an email program, recipes on their website, now cooking videos.
Right.
They realized they were kind of surprised to see a couple years ago that they were in the top 10 of all websites that people visited with their mobile phone.
Oh, really?
And for them, that raised the flag to say, we need to do something in mobile. It's critical mass now. And they developed basically an iPhone app called iFood that puts a lot of their content from their website onto this app. And so, but they didn't put the cart before the horse. They waited to see when their customers were getting there.
Well, one good thing about Kraft is they paid attention to the matrix trend. There's no doubt about that. So let's talk about that. Large business or small businesses, they can all do that, right?
Definitely. I mean, I think one of my favorite examples of a small business that's getting into the cutting edge is actually a little sandwich spot down the street from our office, which put up a Facebook presence and talked about it when people were in their store. You may think, why would they need to do that? Well, they did something very smart where every day they're broadcasting what their sandwich special is of the day.
Nice.
And if you think about it, there's a lot of people that do have a favorite and maybe would visit the restaurant once every 2 weeks and only see what's on special if they happen to walk by in that direction.
Right.
But now you can, go up to your Facebook page at about 11 o'clock when you're starting to think about lunch and starting to think about, getting your friends together, and you can see, hey, they've got the buffalo chicken wrap, that's my favorite, let me go there.
Right.
And in terms of payout, it's almost no investment. It's one person to spend about 15 minutes updating that. And, if they get someone going in an extra, twice a month instead of once a month, that's a huge return on investment.
Yeah, maybe they can throw us a bison steak on the grill, too, and let everyone listen and see how hot it's getting and how juicy it can be. That'll bring people in their door.
You've got it. There's there's a story of a bakery over in London that actually started broadcasting on Twitter when their items were fresh.
Right.
And that improved their sales, too.
Nice. All right. We're almost out of time. We got probably 30 seconds left. Economy's bad. How can companies really pull it out during these times?
I mean, this is where they're still spending marketing dollars, but instead of just telling customers that their product is valuable or taking their price down, we think if they can put that money into creating some of these services, creating some more added value, and it's almost the hidden value that's out there. Instead of marketing being a cost, it can be an investment in the product or service.
All right, the next evolution of marketing, connect with your customers by marketing with meaning. Bob Gilbreath is with us today. Bob, thanks for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
You're more than welcome. Head out today, Barnes & Noble, Amazon.com, your local bookstore. Just get a copy, The Next Evolution of Marketing.